And look, as this game gets closer, and I feel like I've done the same show every day as this game leads in, but as you get closer to kickoff here, and now we're creeping up on about 72 hours before the game here with the 11 a.m. kick on Saturday morning, the more I feel like that Jaden Daniels really has to perform to stay on the field Saturday. I really do. I think that there is going to be a leash on Daniels that is shorter than we've seen up until this point. And we've seen no leash, right? It seems like Daniels has kind of been able to dictate his playing time by being available. When he's available, he's been playing. Last week when he was banged up and knocked out of the game against Auburn, you see your first signs of Garrett Nussmeier. And like we talked about on Monday morning, I think you saw why there was some apprehension on going with Nussmeier in this quarterback competition, right? First off, the thing that surprised me the most, and I think that this is probably a little overly critical as well, was just the way that the nerves kind of ate up Nussmeier on that first series he was out there. And then the more you think about it, it's like, man, like back off a little bit, because anytime you make a position change within a drive, it's tough. I don't care if you're an offensive lineman. I don't care, running backs and wide receivers they rotate a lot within series. So, outside of some line of scrimmage guys, you rarely see, some stalwart type positions get interchanged. You never see the quarterback mid-drive unless they're running like some type of, Les Miles 2-quarterback system, which we were referencing, when he was like sending the play in with Jefferson to get, Jay Lee out the game. And then the next play it was coming in from Lee. I mean, it was just, flag football, minor league type stuff. But last week you saw Nussmeier. I mean, once he realized, okay, this is my moment, I thought that he settled into the game to a point where you can see why there is a little bit of a draw to him in this case of where LSU is. I don't believe that, and look, if you listen to the show, you know that I have pounded the drum for Nussmeier at times, especially leading into the season. After watching LSU play a month, I said, look, Daniels is the quarterback on this team. He gives you the best chance to be as successful as you can with his style. In a game like Saturday, if the criticism that has been lobbed towards Daniels plays out once again, and it's not just by media members, fan base, people that are on the outside, you can hear his head coach urging and wanting more opportunities to make plays from the quarterback position. And I think he's okay in giving Daniels the first right to get out there and take, have the opportunity. But if he can't capitalize on it come Saturday, very early on, I think that you could potentially see a quarterback change. And I don't know if that means that would be a quarterback change for the rest of the year. I'm just talking about specifically on Saturday. If Daniels shows that he is still too uneasy of letting the ball go and throwing the ball down the field, and LSU gets into a situation where Tennessee may jump out early because they have the type of offense that, they can score points in a blink. And, you look up and you're in a situation where you were last Saturday night where you're down 17-0 and your offense is showing no signs of life, no signs of being able to make plays and extending the field with, their wide receivers and changing the scoreboard. I think that they may go to Nussmeier on Saturday. And I'm not saying that, Nussmeier, once you plug him in, that he's going to guarantee you win the game. I just think when you look at Nussmeier and you're in Brian Kelly's situation, you're thinking to yourself, at least he'll take the chance of pushing the ball down the field and give these guys a shot to make a play. And that's what LSU's going to have. I mean, as Kelly said earlier this week at his press conference, 24 points ain't going to cut it. 21 points, you're not going to be able to win with that style and that formula this weekend. So Jaden Daniels has to come out on Saturday with a mindset of trying to make a play. And trying to make a play with a little bit more risk reward added into the mix. I mean, I don't know how many times or how many other ways you can say that protecting the football is so very important when playing the quarterback position at any level. The first priority and first responsibility you have in that position is that, hey, man, the coaching staff and your teammates are trusting you with a lot. You touch the ball every offensive play. The first thing you got to do is you got to protect the ball. Jaden Daniels does that better than just about any quarterback LSU has had in the recent memory, but he does it because he doesn't take chances, which, again, is safe. But when you have a team like LSU where all the dynamite, all of the explosive power is on the outside, well, you got to have somebody that can light the wick. You got to have somebody that can put these guys in play. And through 5 games, where's Kayshawn? Where's Jack Besh? Where's Malik Neighbors in open space? Why can't they get him the ball in stride? These are conversations that are not just happening in the public and on platforms like this. That's happening within the walls. That's happening in the coaching staff quarters of, hey, we gotta get these guys the ball. If you want to make it through the month of October, it's not just Tennessee that you're going to have to go toe-to-toe with. Ole Miss is coming in here at some point. You have to score with them, right? I mean, we talked about Anthony Richardson and Florida and what they're capable of doing. He put 430 yards on Tennessee's head. They got the capability of doing it. So they have to find a rhythm of some offense here pretty quick. And if Daniels doesn't show that he's the guy, I believe that you'll see a quarterback change pretty quick. I really do. I think you can see somebody. I think you can see Nussmeier in there pretty quick in the sense of.
But what if
he'll get his chance?
What if Jaden Daniels plays the way that he has been up to this point this year in terms of run first and doesn't do the things that LSU fans want to see or that coaching staff wants to see, but he leads you on 2 touchdown drives? Do you pull him? Is this a matter of principle or a matter of result?
No, absolutely, it's a matter of result.
Right, because if nothing changes, but he's playing.
No, that's what I'm saying. He's got an opportunity on Saturday to keep Nussmeier on the bench.
Yeah,
but if he comes out and plays like he's shown who he is the first 5 weeks of the year, you just can't win on Saturday like that. You're 4-1, so you can win with that style of play. You can't win against a team that has the firepower that Tennessee does, and in a blink can change the scoreboard. And if you're down 17-0 early this week, it's a different 17-0 deficit than what you faced last Saturday. It's a much deeper, darker hole than you're thinking, where is the sunshine? You know what I mean? At 11 a.m. in the morning, you may be smothered because you just can't find yourself out of this hole.
Because it's not going to be 17-0 at half. It's going to be 17-0 in the first quarter.
Yeah. And then 17-0 is going to turn to 34-0 real quick.
Right.
And what scares me about that proposition is if you do go to Nussmeier and you're trailing with still an opportunity to fight back in it, that's when the ball's coming out. That's when the ball is going to be sailing. That's when the ball is going to be put into the air of, hey, look, you're the one saying you wanted a turnover, not like this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well,
I want a turnover within the first 8 minutes of the game of taking a shot if that's going to get Jaden Daniels to a point where you're like, hey, man, it's not the end of the world. You gave it to him. The defense is going to bail you out, get you the ball back. Don't change your mindset. Keep throwing the ball down the field. Don't let that outcome change what we're trying to do today. The ball's got to be in number 7's hands. It's got to go to Malik Neighbors. It's got to go to Brian Thomas. Jack Besh needs to be included. Get Kayshawn the ball early. Get Jeray Jenkins going. Get these guys going that can put pressure on Tennessee to see if they can respond in this environment. I think this is obviously going to be Tennessee's toughest road challenge. I think the Pittsburgh win for Tennessee was really impressive at that point in the schedule.
Right.
But this is a different roster that they're going to face on the road than what they faced a couple of weeks back. That was a great test for them to get them set up for taking this road challenge that they're going to step into on Saturday. But it's a different type of athlete on the line of scrimmage for Tennessee's offense that they're going to be they're going to be facing. They've not faced B.J. Ojulari, Jaquelin Roy, Ali Gay yet,
right.
Mekhi Wingo. They just hadn't seen them. So if they can get pressure on Hooker, the thing that scares me so much about Hooker is that we sit here and we talk about his passing yards and his somebody that protects the football as well. He doesn't turn it over either. Is that he can run it too. Like he is a true dual threat quarterback in the way that I define one. Is that the guy is a pass first quarterback where he can make just about every throw, but if it breaks down, man, you better not bet against his athleticism and his speed. You know what it kind of reminds me of? Kind of reminds me of Burrow, where Burrow wanted to chop you up. He wanted to put 400 on your head through the air. But if he had to, he'd make big plays with his feet. Think Auburn game 2019. Think Alabama second half 2019.
Clemson.
Think Clemson. There were opportunities in that season where they would take the passing lanes away from Burrow and he'd murder you with his feet. He'd get up, a back cracking first down on a 3rd and long that he'd pick up with his legs. Hooker has that type of capability too, where, man, you could have everybody accounted for. You could be in the right spot, and you could, play really good pass defense against one of the best pass throwers in the country, and he could pick up 7 with his feet and move the chains.
I did it against Florida, 13 rushes for 112 yards.
And BJ talked about it, how he, kind of runs different. Like Robbie Ashford's like scrambling outside. Well, Hooker's going to step up in the middle of the pocket and try to, gut you up the middle. So it's a whole different, type of game plan that you have to build around your D line.
Yeah, no, it's a different style of rush. If you rush and you fly by him, and I don't know if LSU wants to play man-to-man.
Right.
If they're going to have their back turned to the quarterback, to the ball, while down the field guarding. And if their blitz doesn't, if their pass rush, leaves lanes to run, he'll murder you.
Yeah.
Like, he'll kill you in running the football. Because one thing that Hooker does, and I think this goes and plays into the turnover stat, in which he rarely does not turn the ball over, is that, you want to talk about coach speak, this is a coaching term, but it truly is who Hendon Hooker is, and watching him play, he gets what the defense gives.
Right.
So whatever you give him, he's going to maximize the play that he has versus that look. And his decision-making is flawless up to this point. His ability to throw the football is very impressive. He's gotten a lot better at that. And then, the stat like you mentioned, if he's got to, he'll run.
Yeah.
And he doesn't feel uncomfortable running. It's not like Miles Brennan back there running like quarterback draw. I mean, it is athlete, open space, green grass, look out. So huge premium on tackling against this again this week. I know we talked about that with Mississippi State a couple of weeks back. But if you got an opportunity to hit this guy, you got to take every advantage that you have. If he is in open space and he's out of the pocket, if he's playing between the hash marks like we've talked about with Jaden Daniels, and that's where you can hurt somebody on an SEC field, on a football field in general. If Hooker's out there, running around, you got to take every opportunity to blow him up. Now, he's bigger than Daniel. I mean, he's legit. He's NFL quarterback, bro. I mean, his size, his stature, the way that he's playing right now. I mean, he feels like a first-round pick coming into Baton Rouge on Saturday. He feels like kind of like a Heisman contender at this point. Somebody that everybody in the country is going to be is talking about, kind of leading up to it. He's got a great opportunity on Saturday too to come out of Baton Rouge and be in a good spot if he plays well. So